Slàinté, y'all. Welcome. Scotch on the Bayou. Leanne here for another Tuesday night live from Baton Rouge. And I hope everyone's doing well. We are about to slide into the holidays, right? And man, it is like, where'd the year go? I mean, the year went like poof. I mean, Mardi Gras was when I started this channel. Started the online show, and with our issues with internet and all that kind of fun stuff, is like we're already in like third week in November. This is crazy. So yeah, just crazy. I hope everybody's getting ready for Thanksgiving. We'll talk a little bit more about that right now, but I want to jump in the chat and see who all is here and say hello. Sugar Kitty is here. Yes, I'm going to come back to this comment in a minute. But yeah, so great to see you too, Slow. Molasses, yes, he's here. Early, good to see you, friend. Thanks for being here. And Katie, Ethan, good to see y'all. Hopefully we'll see y'all this weekend for sure. Oh my goodness, Hoagie. Good morning to you. You're in the middle of the night over in Germany. So thank you for being here, my friend. I really do appreciate it. And I'm sure y'all are gearing up for Papa Noel, as we call him over here, but Santa Claus. Hey, Chuck, good to see you, Minion. And another Andrew, thank you for being here. Oh, yes. So Kilco, Brian, if y'all can, he is doing some fundraising for pancreatic cancer. So be sure to try to get over there to his channel. That's something that's a very worthy cause of supporting for sure. But thanks, Andrew, for being here. Hey, Tom. Good to see you, friend. And I know that your heart is split among whiskey and rum. So I would like some rum suggestions from you tonight for sure. And Donna, yay! Thanks for being here. I love connecting with you and so many of the folks on that are on Facebook too. There's some little glitch that is not letting me um stream to Facebook right now. So I have to work that out. It's like it's not happy with something. So I've got to fix that. So thanks for being here, Donna. I appreciate it. Mr. Great Shot. Awesome. Thanks, Brian. Brian is such a sweetheart. Glad you could come over, Mr. Great Shot. I hope you enjoy. We're real chill over here. Just kind of, so as we say, the laissez-faire, just kind of doing our thing and having some joie de vivre here in South Louisiana is where I am. Hey, Carlos, good to see you and glad you're here. And Kim, hey, friend. Hope you're getting ready for the big Thanksgiving parade. I imagine kind of complicates your life up there in New York a little bit, but good to see you there. And George. Hey, George. Yes, I hope we could all get some whiskey for the holidays. We could all use some. And I think probably depending on your family dynamic for Thanksgiving, it may require more than a dram or two. But I'm super excited about Thanksgiving this year with our family. My folks have some very dear friends that are in from out of town, and it's going to be really cool to be able to have Thanksgiving with all of them and all my peeps together. That's for sure. But good. Hey, oh, and Peter's in. Hey, Peter, thanks for being in. I'm super excited about like getting into the holidays and figuring out, kind of a little bit of slower time. I'm not taking a lot of time off of work, but I'm definitely trying to just kind of get some rest and relaxation. Got quite a few events planned with, whiskey friends and non-whiskey friends and family. And it got me thinking, how does whiskey play into all of the holidays? And when you look at that and you say, well, okay, you get to the point, and I'm also working on a couple of videos to try to get out here on gift giving ideas. And there's things beyond, for a whiskey enthusiast that are great gift ideas and some that are maybe not so great ideas. And we'll kind of cover those too in the video. But what are those things that we can kind of suggest for people that are whiskey enthusiasts, that are kind of into whiskey. And that got me thinking more about the whiskey itself and giving whiskey, serving whiskey for those parties and events. And, and also what you might like for Santa Claus to put up under the tree or in the stocking this year. So I kind of wanted to just kind of chat with that. And again, I'm looking for some participation from you all, because I want to hear what your perspectives are. I only know what I know. That's the beauty of the Whiskey Tube community, is that we can all chat and everyone has their own history and experiences, and it's so very open to sharing all of that. So yeah, I'm excited about that. So well, look, I want to go back to the very first comment, which was from Sugar Kitty. And so today we were talking about what to serve, what to give, and what you're going to wish for. And I love this comment. It's serve better than you drink, give better than you serve, and wish for something humble. I love that. I mean, like, I had to write it down. So thank you for Sugar Kitty for that, because that's sage advice, right? And it just goes to the whole parable about giving is better to give than to receive, and the whole spirit of the season, right? Except our spirit is a little different kind of spirit, if you know what I mean. Hey, Sanji, y'all. Hey, Martin. Thanks for joining tonight. I appreciate it. Yeah, so we're going to talk more about what to serve. I think we want to start there first, but as we're doing that, let me know what y'all are drinking. And looking at serving, there's a couple of different scenarios, right? So my day job is working to write material for an engineering company. So it's proposals, technical documents, all those kind of things. So the first thing I need to know in order to do that is who's my audience. So similarly, for an event, who's your audience? Is it folks who are really into whiskey, like you might be? Um, is it a mixed crowd where some people won't even know what whiskey is or won't know what they like? Being able to figure out what it is that people like, or what to serve to them, starts out with who those folks are, for sure. So I am having tonight, my first dram. My first dram is the Balvenie American Oak. Get in there. Yeah, there we go. And I'll take that comment down. So this is that sweet toast of American Oak, which I did a comparison with the double wood, a video on that. It was really interesting. But this is a 12-year. They're just solid. They just make some really good solid whiskey, huh? Before an event, like if you're having a party, say you're the host of a party and you want to serve different things, I would look at kind of a wide range. If you're playing bartender, that's a really good way to kind of hone in on everybody, on individual palates. Having the conversation about what do they like and what don't they like. If they're a bourbon person and they're wanting to get into Scotch whiskeys, or you want to try to suggest one, kind of knowing their palate will help a whole lot, right? But I also think there's going to be a good way to have some cocktails there too. And you're going to serve things that you want to drink yourself. You're not going to serve something that, some kind of rot gut that you don't want to. If you were attending somebody's party, you would want to be able to drink as well as you want to serve as well. So back to Sugar Kitty's comment on that. I love that you would serve better than you drink. That's for sure. I saw some other folks jump in here, and I want to see too what folks are drinking. So Hoagie is having a Royal Brocla 12-year Oloroso sherry. Mm, mm, mm. That's what's in the glass, by the way. Very nice. It's the season of Oloroso, right? It's just sherry season. Um, it's chilly down here finally in South Louisiana, so we're really enjoying that. And I don't know. I start getting out the heavy sherries and some peated whiskeys. Um, hey, I want to shout out to a new neighbor of mine. Hey, man. So Scotch Addict, y'all may very well know on the Facebook world. He's now down in my neck of the woods. So I'm really super stoked about getting to know this guy. And yeah, man, just to have a dram or two for sure. Let's connect in the next couple of days. Um, and Troopers in another South Louisiana friend. Hey, my dear. Um, he's changing out the wood stove, I'm guessing, or the cooking stove. He's always into something. I'm gonna tell you. But you having while you're doing that, you're multitasking with single barrel sherry cask. Oh yeah. Oh, so you're not drinking that? Yes, you're talking about the Belvini one. Yes. So funny thing, talking about gift giving. That particular bottle, I ended up giving my dad's cardiologist. So, my dad, in 2020 had, triple bypass surgery, and I was really happy. He was doing well. He was all pink and everything, It's amazing what blood flow will do. So, my parents told me that Dr. Fontenot liked Scotch. So I was like, okay, if he doesn't like this bottle, there's no help for him. So I bought the bottle and I said, here, go take this to him the next time Dad has a checkup. And that was a big hit. But I knew that he would probably like it because he likes Scotch. It's interesting. So, oh me. That's a combination. A Whataburger, lemonade. Hopefully you get a nice palate cleanser in between that. But the Aaron Sauternes sounds like that's just divine. You had me at Aaron. Sorry. I'm an Aaron fan girl. I can't help it. I can't help it. Oh goodness. So yeah, Peter, sure, Kitty, let me know what y'all are drinking. So for the holidays, you vote for PX over Oloroso. It's just so much deeper, right? I mean, just thinking about, oh, actually, yes, I have visual aids. So thinking about the difference between those sherries, you've got this for Oloroso and you've got this for PX. I don't know if I can get those up there so where you can really see. There's so much difference in that color, right? There we go. I mean, see, the color itself just looks so much richer. This is actually the wine that I have these little samples for. I love show and tell. I could tell that I played teacher when I was a kid often. But yeah, those are really tasty. Um, let's because I'm on this channel, I'll pour some Compass Box Artist Blend. That's a very good one. That's a great dram. Just I was talking to a friend of mine who was at a liquor store in Mississippi this evening, and we were going through the swath of Compass Box selections that they had there. And, you just kind of go back to that artist blend, and also the Glasgow blend is great. You can drink them neat. You can throw in a hot summer Louisiana day, make a highball out of one of those. Is really nice, or make a great cocktail for sure. Really do, really do. So, all right, Brady, we'll check in with you there for sure. Yeah, great shot. That PX is very dark. It's basically raisins ground up and made into wine. So it's definitely potent. That's for sure. And you get all those really good characteristics of, you know, really deep stewed fruits, maybe some chocolate and tobacco, leather, just really deep, where I get more nuttiness or um, lighter lighter fruits and more spice on the Oloroso from my palate anyway. Um, so Hoagie says his last Scotch purchase, been rather optimistic. Buying kind of regular stuff to stock up because of the price bumps. Yeah, so that's a big consideration too, right? When you're buying a gift or when you're serving, everything's more expensive if you can even find it. This past weekend, I went to Lake Charles for the Smoke and Barrel Festival, and it's a barbecue and whiskey festival. Last year was spectacular. They had a lot of Scotch, a lot of the brands that were there, and so they're the brand representatives, and they'll have their bourbons, they'll have rye, and then quite a few of them had Scotches. Brown Foreman last year, they had their Jack Daniels, and right next to it, they had Ben Rick, and they had Glendronach even, Macallan was there last year. Glenlivet was there last year. This year, beyond the fact that it rained and it was 40 degrees and not exactly pleasant, there was no Scotch. There were a couple American single malts, but no Scotch. And I'm like, y'all, where? And even the distributors are having trouble getting Scotch this year, at least down where we are. So that in itself is hard to come by, So figuring out what you want to do for an event, being able to, host a dinner or host a holiday party. So you have a Christmas party and you want to be able to serve something. The compass box, blends are a perfect way as a starter. If your audience is more whiskey enthusiasts, you can, pull some other things that might be of interest to them. But I also think it go back to the audience. If it's someone who's really not going to get into the peat, then maybe not serve them that, The other part of that is if you're attending an event, and this is where the Southern Belle comes out in me, and you never go to somebody's house empty-handed. So what do you bring? Do you bring a bottle? What is the host or the hostess gift? Thank you for inviting me to your party. I'd like to give you this as a hostess gift. What are those things? Is it, again, do you know what they like? And if you don't, then I think samples are a beautiful way of being able to say, hey, I want you to try this, and you're not outlaying a lot of dollars by giving them an ounce or two of something that you think they might be interested in. Having a couple even, is a great way to spread the love there. So, yeah, let me get back into the comments some. So Allison, the Boona 14-year-old PX is amazing. Well, much like the Aaron comment a while ago, you kind of had me at Boona. Because a Boona is bueno. I love Boona. I'll have that. That would be awesome. I would love that. So just obtained the Lockley Harvest Edition Port Oloroso Sherry and Bourbon casks, and the Lockley our barley bourbon Oloroso and STR shaved, toasted, charred. Thank you. I'm getting there. Expressions. So I have to pour one of each. Ooh, I would love to hear about your side-by-side analysis of that. I want to learn more about Lockley, mainly because I'm a John Campbell fangirl. Just loved him and meeting him at Lefroy. So I'm going to really, really love learning more about some of the new things that they've got coming out for sure. Hey man, this is my bud. That's my little brother, my little bro. Y'all didn't know we're not really kin. We're siblings by choice. I'll say that. But yeah, Mark was here a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? And let me tell you, man, so he was on a hog hunt and he brought the hog meat down and marked, and he took it over to a processing plant. And let me tell you, it's really good. We've already had a jambalaya breakfast using it. It's really tasty. Mm. This American oak is just there's a good bit of vanilla on it. It's a nice, a nice bourbon matured expression. It's not as oaky as the double oak, not as sweet as Caribbean cask. It's really nicely balanced. I'm liking that for sure. So for unknown audience, you usually bring the Balvenie Doublewood. Yeah, that's a good standard, I mean, it is. It's going to appeal to your bourbon folks. It's going to appeal to your Scotch folks. And, I don't know that I'd make a cocktail out of it if I had something else available, but, in a pinch, it'll work. And hey, Gregor, got Tim for Dram in there. Thanks for being here, friend. I've got great FOMO. He's getting to see Paolo Nutini next year. And I'm like really jealous for sure. We've been talking music here lately. Carlos, Glen Scotia 18. I sure hate that you have a lousy dram there, friend. Good gravy. I bet that was really tasty. Yeah, yum. Naked grouse in the decanter. Shh, they'll never know. You laughed. Look, I still, Broda, I still have the naked, and I meant to talk about this, but this is a really good suggestion. And I know you're being silly to an extent, Gregor, but this is a really good something to have on the bar at a party. It's sweet. You got your sherry there. It's a blended malt, so you got your malt working and not in the world of corn syrup. That wasn't too big of a dig, sorry, but it's just really good. And if you go to the Scotch for Dummies King of the Hill series, you'll see that this is one. It's beaten out all the other blends. So it's a great value for like $37. What I did want to mention on the Dummies show the other night that we did when we rated this is Louis Grizzard was a humorist. He wrote for the Atlanta paper. He wrote lots of books, and I absolutely adored his writing. And he had this saying that there's a difference between naked and naked. Naked, you ain't got no clothes on. Naked, you ain't got no clothes on and you're up to something. So naked grouse or naked malt now, it's not up to too much in that respect, but it's a really good dram. Oh, very tasty. Let's see. Yeah. So I think, Brody, you're asking about those Lockleys. Yeah, that's where John Campbell ended up. It's a Highland. Isn't it a Highland? I want to say it's a Highland. Pretty sure it is. Let me see. Yeah. Who else is in here? See, Mark recommended that bottle to an older gentleman. I'm guessing the Doublewood. Yeah. The Balvenie Doublewood. Yep, cool. Okay, so as far as going to the event, I think we got serving. We're pretty well. Know your audience. Know what you want. Always have a non-alcoholic beverage on offer, because this is the time, unfortunately, that people decide they may over imbibe, and maybe they don't even decide. They're just having fun. They're not thinking about it. And, a lot of responsibility comes with having bottles. A lot of responsibility comes with hosting people and making sure that everybody is okay to be outside of that environment. Um, it is kind of ironic that I do this and I'm such an enthusiast over whiskey. But I did get hit by a drunk driver once, and I'm gonna tell you, if I hadn't have been in a car made out of steel, I wouldn't be here tonight. So it is very important that we take full responsibility for our indulgence and for our, you know, what we do drink, and as a good host and hostess, making sure all of our folks are well and okay to leave when that time comes. So let's talk about buying whiskey, because this one really depends on who it is, right? Oh, before then, let's get it. Hey, I see Richie. Good to see you, Richie. Thanks for being in. And I saw that other guy, that other scamp. Where'd he go? Hey, Zach. Just always welcome, my friend. Don't worry about being late. I appreciate it being in here. But yeah, so looking at, uh, thank you. I knew, Andrew, you would know because right in your neck of the woods. Lockley is lowland. Thank you. Okay. So buying whiskey. I'm sure all of us who are into this, which is pretty much why you're here on a Tuesday night, have somebody said, "Hey, I need to buy my boss a bottle of scotch. What should I get?" And you're like, "Okay, my father-in-law loves scotch. I need to get him a bottle." You really, it's tough, right? Because you do need to kind of know something about the person. Like the instance with my dad's cardiologist, if he mentioned, because they told him what I do, because like my husband, they're big cheerleaders. But you kind of need to know a little bit more. Uh, but a safe bet, getting back to Martin's comment, is what would you give someone, or what would you suggest someone buy for their boss, or for someone that they may not know. And sometimes we're being asked this by people who don't even drink scotch or don't even drink whiskey at all. And so that's kind of like, well, what do you like? Well, if they don't drink it, then where are we going with it? So and I think there's some good suggestions. Some of the things that are your basics. Again, even like the naked malt would be a good one. But when you're thinking, probably if you're trying to also impress somebody, you kind of hear this time of year too. I wish some of my friends that run liquor stores were on, because this is usually when you got people walking in the door going, "I'd like to buy a bottle of Pappy for my father-in-law." And it's like, well, bless your heart, that's not going to happen. But there's really good whiskey out there that doesn't have that name, right? So I think, kind of going back to Sugar Kitty, give better than you serve. Um, give something that you would absolutely want to drink yourself. Absolutely drink yourself. Um, if it's, everybody's going to have a price range, there's some really good whiskeys in the 35 to $55 range. There's some really good whiskeys if you want to go higher than that. And they don't have to be the end all be all names that kind of get floated around for status. So give me some ideas about those kinds of bottles that you would want to suggest for somebody to buy. Mm. So your holiday scotch bottle's always been the signet, man, and currently out. It's, man, is that a good? It's like right there, right there. That was my anniversary bottle, and we just dole some out from there to there. But yeah, that's a great one um, to celebrate with and to share, especially something that special with folks who really really do like whiskey. I love the idea of having a really good inexpensive scotch in a decanter. Yep, we do that. We have two decanters and we keep usually naked malt in one and monkey shoulder in the other. Because if I want to make a cocktail, especially in the summertime, because I'm gonna tell you, it's hot down here, y'all. And it's a little it's a little aggressive sometimes to drink scotch when it's 95 degrees outside and 100% humidity. But you put a monkey shoulder, maybe with a little club soda over ice. It'll cool you off real quick. Really, really nice. Um, I'm not quite sure why we didn't quite pass out in my studio, although after your show on Thursday, we did stay up to 2 o'clock in the morning chatting and drinking. I was very functional the next day though. Um, but yeah, just looking at what you want to give someone. If you know them, then you can kind of get an idea and look at it by category too, you know. Um, what are like 3 or 4 sherries that are good to give somebody if they're into Irish. I wish Tracy was on tonight because she's got the Irish down. But you can look at different categories too. And, you know, if you know that they really like peated, then that's something to go with as well. A coworker of mine, good buddy, his wife absolutely adores peated whiskeys. So I've kind of got a running list in my head of all the ones I've suggested so far. And you know, he's called me from the store before, like, what should I get Amy? And I was like, well, what do they got? um, that's a really good one. To be able to try to match with it. The kicker is when you don't know the person and you kind of go safe. And I think those middle range, well, I say middle range, but the prices have gone up so much. I mean, the Balvenie Doublewood used to be like a $65-$70 bottle. And I mean, they're pulling in close to $100 down here. So those things are it's really it's kind of hit and miss. Again, you got a budget like any kind of gift giving situation. Uh, and then you have maybe knowing what the palate is. But even that, most everybody likes something that's sherry, something that's a nice Old Pulteney, Deanston 12s, things like that that are their entry level. Maybe for some of us, but for others that are just kind of getting into it, they may not be just entry level, but they're a sure bet. They may not be the awe-inspiring, you know, like a Signet. That's a whole different price point, right? Than, you know, just buying a bottle for the father-in-law. That's a celebratory bottle, you know, a big Christmas bottle. But where you're wanting to give a bottle to a friend who's maybe just getting into it, again, give what you would drink. And a Deanston 12 is such a good bottle to start off with. Old Pulteney 12 for some, you know, that salty, malty kind of thing going on. You want to get them into some smoke, but maybe not too much of the peat. Highland Park 12, beautiful bottle for gifting. And, you know, for that matter, if you really want to push some Talisker 10 with a little bit more campfire getting into there. So yeah, Kim, Orchard House, I've really gotten into that. I actually used that as one of my suggested bottles that we did at the Scotch 101 session at the Louisiana Bourbon Festival a couple of weeks ago to show people what a blend was. You know, I think that's Linkwood and Kleinleash with like 2% Kalila. I mean, you got to really hone in on that smoke and a little touch of peat to pick that much up. for sure. But that's a lovely bottle. And I think it's like 40 something bucks, you know. Um, that's great. So Andrew's saying the story of the Spaniard is another good. Yeah, absolutely. Great suggestion. Boona 12. Yeah. Boona is such a great another King of the Hill winner for the Scotch for Dummies. If y'all haven't caught that series, go back and take a look at that one because it's the whole series is just it's amazing what some of these tried and true you have in your head what they are that went head to head and you're sure something's going to win and sure enough it didn't work out like you were thinking. Martin, yeah, Deanston 12, just all day, every day. Even the Virgin Oak, that one is a particularly surprising. I can remember when everybody was raving about it. I'm like, it's just a brand new barrel. I mean, is it going to be really, oaky? Is it going to taste like a 2x4? No, indeed. And is such a good value. I mean, I can remember getting a bottle of Deanston Virgin Oak for like $23 and it came with 2 glasses after Christmas time. That's amazing. Talisker 10 is always out there for those savory folks. Yeah, if you don't like sweet whiskey, that's a great suggestion. Sugar Cases, the Springbank 10, if you get it, and Annock 18 or Tamdu 15. Yeah, so you're definitely in a little higher price range there, but lovely drams. Oh my goodness, yes. That Annock 18 is one of my favorites, and it's over there and it's getting low in that bottle. And then the Tamdu 15, just again a great sherry. A great sherry, and that one is a sherry bomb for sure, but balanced to where it's not like sherry with a little bit of whiskey. Some of those can just be too much for sure. Kilkerran 12, if you can get it. Actually, we got a plethora of those down here at the moment. It's amazing how much Kilkerran 12 I've been seeing, which is weird because some of the others I can't find the port cask right now here, but yeah, another really good one. The ppm's not too high on that. It's got a nice smoky taste to it, but not the peat isn't it won't hit you over the head. It's really nice and balanced. So talking more about the Lockley, y'all. So this is what I love so much. I've not had any exposure to Lockley, right? Not something I'm going to get probably unless I find it through somebody. But talking about those two expressions, nice and warming on a cold night, fruity but rich, and the hour barley, that's the bourbon oloroso, is a bit spicier with cinnamon on the nose. More tasting needed. Yes, full report there, Donna. Would love to see that. So Carlos had his Glenfarclas 21 during the holidays and just finished a few years. Cannot find a replacement. That's the kicker. Like, do you go for the replacement or do you try to find the next thing? It's really tough, especially a bottle like that. Yeah. And it's Glenfarclas is such a great sherry house. They've had the relationship for 7 generations with the same bodega in Spain. So, they're still getting quality casks. It's amazing. Well, hey, Amy. Hey, Amy. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Lagavulin 16 or Lafroig Lore. Man, don't get me started on either one of those. That Lag 16 is so that is the first dram I ever had where the liquid felt 3-dimensional. I'm gonna try to say that as nicely in mixed company as I can. It was quite voluptuous, is a great way of putting it, And then the Lafroig Lore, is just like stewed chocolate cherries with burnt marshmallow. Um, that like when the marshmallow flames up and it has that charcoal sweet crunch outer shell. That to me is lore. I just absolutely adore that bottle. Great suggestion, Amy. Big hugs. Make Georgia give you a hug for me. Um, yeah. See, even Sugar Kitty says Lore's a great bottle. NAS, not age statement. Don't care. Don't matter. Lovely, lovely bottle. Mortlock 12, not sure yet. Had first. Oh yeah, you had that. Um, you had that here. Um, yeah, it's a pretty bottle too. Tamdu, Mortlock. Um, I mean that Tamdu bottle is just so fine, right? Um, what else is a cool bottle? I mean, Spring Dates bottles. I like those. Um, and I think too for the enthusiast who's like really, really into whiskeys, I think an independent bottling of maybe their favorite distillery. Like if somebody is really into Bunnahabhain, or they're really into a Dalmore, or something kind of unexpected too. I have one of the first bottles I bought when I was really getting into this. I'd heard about Dalmore. I'd seen all Robert Pattinson. He's throwing whiskey all over the place, And I was like, well, I want to try that. And I found an Alexander Murray 19-year Dalmore. And that was my first Dalmore. It wasn't one from the distillery. It was an independent bottling of it. So I think that also makes a really good gift for someone who's super into whiskey, who might not encounter that independent bottling. So you've got SMWS, you've got Gordon MacPhail, Douglas Lane. You've got, all the different big IBs that Adelphi, just all kinds of different. What was that other one I looked at today? It was Duncan. Somebody can help me. Duncan, no, Hunter Lang. There's so many Langs. They're like Grants over there. They're just like rabbits. There's a million of them over there. But finding an independent bottling, I think it would be a really fun thing for someone to. Peter's talking about Glenallachie 12s, inexpensive and a decent sipper. Yeah, and I think they're doing some really interesting stuff too. Billy's got cast to work with, and he's doing some his Magic Mojo recasting and vatting, and it's really interesting to see what all they are putting together there. Okay, so we're all going to Berlin to get a liter of Glenfarclas 12. Goodness, that would be delightful. For sure. Now you're getting into the peaty world, Peter. Oh, any kind of electric. Yeah, I'm really digging. I'm digging that. I'd like to have more exposure to more Tomamori to kind of see the yin and the yang. I've had quite a few Lechiks now, but that's something I really want to look more into it. So Sugar Kitty, you're saying 65 still for double wood? Well, be like Hoagie and buy some up, because I'm gonna tell you, it's really getting tough to find. Glendro 15. Oh, Glenmo, Glendro, I think is what you mean. Yeah, Glendronach, the revival. So very good. Very, very good. Glen Grant 18. That's what I was drinking last week. Love that bottle. The 16, I think, is my fave, and it's discontinued, but little brother brought me one last year, so I got that for sure. So Hoagie says he's not so fond of the Glen Morangy 10, but the 12 Slàinté and the 14 Kinta are quite nice. Kinta all day, every day. We have that at the camp, and I will absolutely serve that right away to bourbon folks. especially if they're into a high corn mash bill bourbon. I will say, well, let me show you what port is. The Lasanta, same way. Um, and it's just really very tasty and hits their sweet spot, if you know what I mean, for sure. So we're looking at all these that we are giving. What I want to know is what do you want Santa Claus to bring you, and how do you navigate that with maybe, your significant other saying, "Oh, what do you want for Christmas?" And you're going, "Oh, I really know what I would like that bottle to be." But do you do the shopping yourself? Do you just kind of float a, float a website out to them? Do you do a to me from me kind of thing and just be act surprised under when you open it up under the tree? So yeah, Let me know what you think about that, and I'll give you a couple of ideas um, too. But I want to hit some of these comments. We got quite a few folks still in Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Um, Goodness gracious. Okay, Mark's laughing at something, so I'm a little afraid. Um, Royal Brockla 12 is a new sherry bond, 46%. That's legit. Okay, very nice. Well, hey, Bourbon Neophyte. Nice to see you here. Thanks for coming in and joining us on the Tuesday night. Welcome, Slàinté, y'all. All that fun stuff. We have a lot of fun here, so thanks for coming. And let us know what you're drinking tonight. And it can be bourbon. It doesn't have to be Scotch, I promise. But yeah, that Orchard House is Linkwood, Kleinleash, Ben Rennis. Yeah. Some generic Highland and a touch. I knew it had just a scooch of that Kalila. We had one woman that was able to pick that out in the session I did, the Scotch 101 session. I was like, slow clap, honey. Because if you could pick that out, you did well. Having never really done Scotch or before, for sure. Goodness. So, so sure, can you tell me where you are? And yeah, I mean, we all try to help each other out trying to find stuff. I kept 2 bottles. Trooper will tell you, I kept 2 bottles of sherry Kilkerran 8 for him for 2 years. Until we could finally do a deal in a parking lot and get him those bottles for sure. But yeah. We're doing so good. So with the Glenfarclas, you might find a bottle, and it turns out it even isn't that great anymore. Kind of hit and miss. I've heard that, and I think mine have been hits so far. Um, but my bottles are a little older. I haven't really bought any Glenfarclas lately, so I'm not sure what that situation is. Um, I think I would give a Glenturret and use it as an opportunity to share some love at perhaps a lesser known distillery. That's a super idea, George, and especially if you could find one. Um, I think I might have seen one like over in Texas, but that's not a distillery I'm going to see a whole lot of. And truly, that's where you might even find a lesser known distillery and an independent bottling, like a Cadenhead or something like that too, would be a good suggestion. Just get them a nice boon of 12 cast strength, dude. My friend, Mr. Top Shelf. Those things ain't growing on trees in my neighborhood. Not for sure. But man, yeah, that would be really, really, really tasty for sure. Um, so the lure is overpriced, $170 in Las Vegas. Oh no, sugar. For once, we're cheaper than that down here. Oh my goodness. No. Mm, no, that's $100 bottle still down here. Not that it's cheap, but 170. Goodness. Yeah, I would definitely pass on that. That's tough. And I have to be a really good friend to give that to. Every day that I can say Ardent American is a good day. Um, Bottling by Impex. So, Donna, help me out. Is that like a special liquor store, Impex? Because our Impex, like, is it specs for Texas? That kind of thing. Um, that would be good to know because we ain't got those in my neighborhood. I recently found out that Thompson's Brother is rebranded a redacted brother in U.S. trademarks. Huh. Well, that's interesting. So they got in trouble. There's been a couple of issues with naming of stuff between Highlands and Pete Week and things like that over here. It's very interesting. And congrats, Kate, on watching this show. She's never watched. Oh my gosh. I feel so honored that Kate, Mark's wife, has watched my show and not 7 years of their own show. Oh, Kate, thanks so much. You're a hoot. You made my night, friend. Anytime you can rattle that guy you married is a fun day for me. Oh, goodness. So, Santa Claus, what's Santa bringing? So, we heard from Santa tonight already. Friends came into the state and found some Spring Bake 15 at retail pricing. I had to get them to had them get me to. So, yeah, sometimes Santa needs a helper. I'm just saying. Sometimes Santa has to buy his own bottles. And so this might be a good time to let my Mark Rayner know that Santa's bringing 2 bottles from Tennessee if Katie is still on tonight. Katie Turk's still on tonight. She was able to find something I've been chasing for a while. So don't worry about any more Christmas presents, honey. We had it all covered. That's for sure. Goodness. Yeah. So happy Thanksgiving, Bobby. Great seeing you, Bourbon Battalion. Make sure you check out Instagram between Bourbon Battalion and Zach when they do their cigar thing. I mean, it's amazing what all they talk about and how they do pairings and things like that. So check them out. That's what I love so much about all of this, right? Is we're just having so much fun. So yeah, my so I'll disclose that, full disclosure. Husband's in the other room. He'll go, well, all this is news to me. So at the Scotch 101, I was talking to Katie and her friend Colleen, who was not a Scotch drinker and who had, your typical, not the right Scotch to start off with. She had something smoky and peated and that just wasn't her jam. And that's okay. That's so okay. So I wanted Colleen to have an open mind and let's try something else. So I served her the Old Pulteney 12 and the Glendronach 12 and said, let me know what you think about that. And speaking of, I'm going to pour the last of this. And so she ended up loving it. And so we talked more about Old Pulteney. And Katie goes, oh, I think there's a 17 at my liquor store. And I'm like, what? Because the 17 and the 21s are discontinued. And I have one 17. Haven't opened it because it's going to be hard to find another one, right? So I was like, oh, I was really excited. Well, then she gets back home and she finds out there's a 21. I have been chasing. I don't chase bottles. If they come to me, it's like Roy talks about serendipity. If it comes to me, then I shall grab it. Otherwise, I'm not going to go to the ends of the world to find a bottle. There's too many other great whiskeys out there, but I really did want that 21. And sure enough, she found the same place. Talk about dusty. It's so dusty. So they're coming back in town and Santa Claus got you all covered, babe. We'll just give them to you. You can wrap them up and put them under the tree and it'll be all good. So yeah, it's kind of tough. It's not like I have to have a bottle every Christmas, but when you find something like that you've been looking for, then yeah, that is something I do want to spend money on and make sure we can secure. So Mark Brother will tell you I've been hunting that 21 for a while, for sure. Um, uh, let's see. Do people not have the internet? Scotch is something you could buy online too, not locally. Get the Boone and Castell from the UK. I will do that. But again, there's a lot of other bottles. So um I need to that would be one because Boone to 12 is so so good, right? So can you imagine it at cast strength? Oh man. Dang it. Maybe for another occasion we'll look at that for sure. Um let's see. Hey Donner, good to see you. Happy early turkey day to all in the US. Well, thank you very much. I know your Thanksgiving was back in October up in Canada. So thank you. Yeah, Turkey Day and it's a big day to like do a timeout, I think we're all thankful. We try to be thankful all the time, right? But especially when you can just kind of stop and spend some time with folks and really take a minute to be appreciative of what we have. We're all here tonight on Tuesday night talking about whiskey. It's not a big problem, I mean, we're all doing real well if we're able to do that. So yeah, let's see. I want to see who else. So with the pound in the tank versus the dollar, it's never been better to buy order from the UK. Yeah, it is. It is quite favorable, considering that's for sure. So Richie says, Richie, I'm sure you've been very good. No switches or ashes or coal in your stocking. You would like another Bruichladdich Black Art 4.3. That's a hell of a bottle, friend. Woof. For sure. Yeah, the shipping is what's crazy. The shipping and any of the tariffs. I mean, I know those are lifted now, but there were a couple of times that was tough to pull the trigger on something when you had basically a 35 to 40% upcharge when you look at all of that. Oh, that's right. You were just kind of out there, Martin. Man. Love you too, Kate. Mean it. Um, let's see. Or might be 4.1. You just could start at black art. Most all the black art is awesome. Yes, Sugar Kitty says we need some Scotch elves. So the Scotch elves are helping it out. Yeah, Santa's helpers rule. Yes, absolutely. Um, so how do you rate the Glenfarclas 105? You know, Richie, it's been a while since I've had that, but when I had it, I liked it, but mainly because of that proof was a big part of it. I would really need to revisit that to be sure because it has been a while since I've had that for sure. Yeah, so Katie um Katie was an elf. So yeah, so we talked about ultramarine last when Mark was here, and 350 is what it was. That's what it is down here because I got my friend to check, and that's what it is. I should have a sample of that in the next couple of weeks, Kim, and I'll let you know what I think about it. But it's no, Mark, my guy got back to me and it is 350. So I think it was something else that we were looking that was either that or it was higher at the other place we went. I think that might have been the situation as well. For sure. Um yeah, God, shipping just kills you. When when can we like beam whiskey from one place to the other like Star Trek? That would be pretty cool. I would like to do that. Um Any other wish bottles for tonight? Let's see. All the Scotch made you pour a Dewar's 32X, 32PX matured. Tom. I imagine that's quite tasty. So, I'm not quite sure. I haven't followed which one that one is for sure. Hope the price for the OP was dusty too. Pretty considering after what I've seen, what it's going for out there, they did not mark it up. It's pretty much what it's been all these years. So that was the reason I gave the go ahead and pull the trigger on it. That's for sure. Man. So yeah, we've got me working on videos this weekend. Got some holiday centered ones. One about advent calendars. It's going to come out next week. The king of all advent calendars, George Kaplan, is on tonight. So I'm going to show you some of his work, but it's going to be a quick little video, a DIY video on how to make your own advent calendar, whether you're giving it to someone or to do for yourself. And it's basically built around all those sample bottles you have, because we all have them. I have a ridiculous number of sample bottles, and I need a way to drink them. I do not drink a whole lot. I sip and taste. There's a reason I have these bottles, because they last a long time, because I'm not even an everyday drinker. So how can we move those sample bottles in an advent calendar is a great way. So I'll showcase that in a quick video. And then I'm really excited about the gift giving guide this year, which is centered around whiskey, but not necessarily whiskey. That's why I kind of wanted to talk about the whiskey tonight. What are those things that we want to give, we want to serve, or we want to even get bottle wise? And so the video that's going to come out in after Thanksgiving is about what folks can give that's kind of whiskey related to the whiskey enthusiasts. And I've got some really cool things I'm super excited about. And it should be still in time to get some of that for your whiskey person. And if you are so inclined and need a Scotch helper, a Scotch elf, as Sugar Kitty said, there's plenty of us that can help nudge your person or help hook you up with something that you want to unwrap under the tree, or get for your special holiday for sure. So, but yeah, I wanted to run back through on some of these. So like one of those Ian Hunter Lafroy bottlings that I can't seem to buy. So that's interesting. Okay. I'd like to know more about that for sure. My wish is simple. Just keep up a nice supply of some Kilhoman. It's so good, right? And they're just such good people too. Like when the people that are making the whiskey are good people, it tastes better. So you'll have to tell me, Cherokee, what your favorite is. I do love my Loch Gorms. I have the last 3 years, and I want to do a comparison of 2021 and 22 blind and see, just kind of do a compare and contrast kind of thing and see how that goes. But yeah, they're sauternes. I have a Fino finish one. Oh, they're just so very tasty. Yes, I heard. We're trying to work on dates, friend, and it's difficult with so there's doing a blind with Roy. Andrew's graciously given both of us a flight for us to do. So right now it's just really trying to figure out a time for sure. Yeah, exchange rates. Yeah, it's really something. was one more. Oh, Nichols and Perks is a good from the UK, about 6 bottles, and the shipping was £50. That's reasonable, because when you look at the dollars per bottle on shipping, that's there. Scotch in the Bayou and everybody got to go. Friend, middle of the night. Truly, I think it's 4 a.m. in Berlin. Thank you, Hoagie, so much. Before you leave, if you're still there, I do want to know, and I'm going to wrap this up in a bit. Thanksgiving here in the States, that is a time to be thankful. And I, I get kind of like emotional or whatever, but the idea of all the people and what I'm doing in my life right now, because I went to Scotland and I stopped at a distillery and said, wow, this is Scotch. And to have all the relationships that I have, the friendships that I have with this whiskey community, to have all of you that decided to come and spend this evening with me I'm truly thankful and appreciative of that. The support, of the channel, whether it's being a Camp Drammer, showing up on a Tuesday night, my buddies that are, my admins, thankful that my family supports me in this crazy endeavor that I've done. All of those things mean the world to me. And I do really want to say Slàinté y'all, and thank you so much. Not just on Thanksgiving, but every day, that all that you add to this wonderful fun time that we have together. So Hoagie, sleep well. And I hope work goes well for you. And it's not too much, not too hard to get up in the morning. So I was sure Kitty was talking about wouldn't turn down a lot Gorham, but Mock Bay is really good. And I've had the cast strength of that as well. It's really tasty. Yeah, sample. Oh, so you just got that new lot. I did too. Yeah, I would be interested to do a taste comparison with that 22 year. I mean, the 2022 version with you. Aw, thanks, Tom. We've known each other for a long time, friend. So I'm thankful that you still want to put up with me. A few weeks ago, you brought out 4-ounce samples of the cast strength Indie Sherry Bombs during lockdown. Huh. Sample bottles at the ready for, yeah, perfect. That's a perfect thing to do with that, Donner. Absolutely. Oh, thank you. I know, it's just like all my peoples. I just love it. Tell those wacky dogs hello. Yeah, and then wake you up at 3:00 in the morning because she's wanting to eat. I've got one dog that's got like sundowners or something, and 4:30 in the morning, she's ready to eat. But yeah, so we're gonna wrap up, y'all. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight, and spending time with us. Thanks, Carlos, for being here and for all the support. Again, whether you support the channel, show up, encourage. This community is so gracious, and I really do appreciate it. We'll be back next week for some more fun and shenanigans and all of those fun things. But until then, have a very blessed, wonderful, safe Thanksgiving. Have a good dram. Watch some football. And most of all, Slàinté y'all.